This will be the first tutorial in the series on command line Git about how to do basic workflow when everything is going well. So if we start, we have a text editor open. Atom, I've got a folder. It's got nothing in it yet. If you have a bunch of files, that's fine, but I'm going to assume that we're starting from the beginning as we would hope to do, though I recognize that many of us have not, and that's okay too. So if you're there, I've got my command prompt open to this folder. I've navigated to this folder. It's called random run. I'm going to start with git init. So it creates an empty Git repository. And you'll notice that there's a new folder called .git. And if I just do ls or ls-l, I don't see it, but because it starts with a dot, so it's sort of a hidden folder. But if I do ls-la, then I get all, including hidden, which includes the .git. So I've created this .git folder by initializing the repository. So there's now a Git repository here in this folder. I can track the changes as we work. So over in Atom, I'm going to create a new file, which I'll save. I'm going to call roots.py. I'm going to import a library and save that. Come over here and run that and make sure that I have no typos in it. That's great. I typed the library correctly in my virtual environment. So all that looks great. So I decide, okay, I've got a good start. I want to commit this. And so I'm sort of laying down a marker. I'm saying this is functional code. I want to save it. I want to be able to go back to this point later if I decide that I make a mess of things. I can do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is what's called the status. And so we're on the master branch. We haven't committed anything yet, but I have some untracked files. So that means I've made changes in this file and I've saved them, but I haven't tracked them at all in Git. And so nothing has been added to the commit yet because I'm not ready to commit. All I've done is save the files. So I'm going to add this. So I'm going to do git space add, and then roots is the name of the file. So I'm going to do roots.py. So I'm going to track the changes in roots.py, and I'm going to commit to these changes as functional pieces of code. So I do that. And now if I look at the Git status, you'll notice that it went from untracked files in red to changes to be committed with a new file called roots.py. It went from red to green. I'm ready to commit it. So if I want to commit it, I just do git commit, and then you should put a message. Message you'll do with a -m. I will do initial commit and create file roots.py and import. Voila. And so master root commit. So I've made an initial commit here. It's got a hash here, an identifier tag. It's got my message, and it tells me that I changed one file. I've inserted something into it. And so I've created this commit into the version control. So now if I do git status, you'll notice there's nothing to commit. The working tree is clean, which means I haven't made any changes that I've saved. So if I go up here and I type nothing and I run status again, it doesn't change anything because I haven't saved it yet. I can save, and now if I come over here, there's changes, but I don't like those changes because they're not useful. So I can delete them and save again. And now if I go back here, there's nothing to commit because the saved version is no different from the committed version. And so I'm all good. So that's your basic workflow if everything's going well. You can check the status of where you're at, but you make some changes, you save it. You can test that before you go on to commit it. Once you've tested and you feel like things are good, like you've saved, maybe you had to make a couple of changes because you had a typo, you go back, you fix it, you get it all right, then you're going to add it as a way of setting it up. It's what's called staging it for commit. And once it's been added and it's staged for commit, then you can commit it with a message, and then it's built into your version control.